The content and opinions shared on Talking Randomish are intended for entertainment and informational purposes. They reflect the personal views of the host and guests and do not constitute professional advice or represent any affiliated organization.
We're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random.
Welcome back to Barbershop Talking Random-ish. I am your master barber, Enrique Entario K. Hey, I had y'all with him. I got it all tonight. Yes, sir.
And that is his real name.
But tonight, we are in the barbershop, and tonight we have Robert and Michele Tuckle in the building. And I know most of y'all probably know her in her financial world, but tonight we got her in here to talk about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The digital flyer that I sent it intentionally. If you look at that flyer, there's all different nationalities of women on that cover. One sad thing that I think a lot of people don't know, men also have breast cancer, gets breast cancer. In the USA, there's about 2,800 men get breast cancer a year. Globally, there's about 3,800 cases of breast cancer in men. Men, people, world. We do get breast cancer. There is a chance that we can get breast cancer. So this is not just a woman disease. It's a everybody disease. And men, I know you're ashamed. I know you are ashamed to have this conversation. But have the conversation, because there are other men out there. There's almost 39,000 cases a year worldwide. Somebody's having this. Somebody's getting this. We need to have these conversations about it, and we need to be comfortable as men to have these conversations. So if you do, and I promise you, if you want to have it and share your story, holler at your boy.
I'm gonna volunteer somebody for you right now.
Hey.
So yeah, big shout out, because this person was a part of my village through the breast cancer journey, but has been a part of my village since college. One of my best friends from college, Mr. Aubrey Glenkamp.
Okay.
So I was diagnosed in 2022. He was diagnosed in 2012.
Wow.
So he was in the 10-year mark.
Yes.
When I was just, starting this journey, but he was who I called for, so how did you deal with this? What was that? And the one thing that he and I said we were going to talk about at some point on a podcast, we both live crazy lives, was the difference between how insurance treated us. Because I'm going to tell you, part of my journey, like I said, I had really good insurance, and it gave me access to everything. Yes. You get to make the choice. Yes. You're empowered.
Yes.
As a man,
yes,
going through it, he was like, they didn't ask me that. I wasn't allowed to do that. I didn't even know until I was on the table about to go have surgery if my insurance would cover I don't know what they call it, pectectomy, because I did a double vasectomy, and so he was like, can I do double? Because I'm going to be concave on one side. We all cover both, so I'll at least have some symmetry. So he and I were having that conversation. So shout out to Aubrey Glenkamp. He is in the Brazelton, Gainesville area. But I'm a volunteer for you. He got a place to stay. He come in.
Love you, Aubrey. Also recognize I wasn't the one that called you out, man. She did that. So yell at her.
America. He's talking about it.
As soon as we go to exchange, cause I would love to have y'all back in here to have this conversation because, like I say, 39,000 men gets breast cancer every year, but we don't talk about it. No, it's 39,000.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Across the globe.
Yeah, across the globe. Now, we back to why we're here.
Yeah.
Once you got diagnosed,
Mhm.
when did how did the treatment part of this thing go?
Yeah, so one of the things they do is they start giving you a list of here are potential doctors, because again, this is all new to me and it's a flood of information all the time. And so I was asked to select and reach out to who I wanted for my oncologist, so the cancer doctor, who I wanted for the surgeon to actually remove my breast, and who I wanted to be the plastic surgeon for reconstruction, to have these different conversations if I was going to go down that road. But you're meeting with these different
Yes.
medical professionals to make that decision. So I got a list from, St. Mary's, because they, like I said, they're the ones who did the mammogram. They're the ones who walked me through the initial part of the process. Piedmont did my surgery. And that's why I said they both have a very important role in my journey with this. And so what I did, because I'm blessed enough to have have really good insurance and blessed enough to have medical professionals in my world. Because as a financial advisor, I have plenty of clients who are medical professionals.
Yeah.
And I also there's some really good friends. I won't call their names because I don't want everybody calling them asking other stuff. But really good friends. I mean, we travel together, love them. We had our wedding in their house because we had a COVID wedding, right? And picked the phone up and I was like, hey, so I got diagnosed. If this were you, who would you see? And so the wife's an RN, husband's a doctor. They have their own practice almost across the street from y'all, so I'll tell y'all offline. And I said, so who do I need to be going to? And so I called these offices and said, I need to schedule an appointment. Here's what's going on. One of the doctors, the oncologist, they had a 6-week wait list of when they were taking new patients in. And the surgeon was on his way to retirement. And but he is one of the best that everybody really talked to. And I was like, ooh, okay. So I called them back and I was like, hey, so I did the calls. Here's what they told me. And I said, Doc goes, oh, that won't do. I'll call you back. This is on a Thursday, about 6 o'clock that night, Thursday night. He didn't call me back that night, but Friday morning I got a call from both of those offices. Because he so respected the medical community. They were like, because he sent you over here. And the oncologist, where my appointment was 6 weeks out, got moved up to the following Tuesday. And it was Dr. Nick at UCBC. The lady at the front desk says, he would see you on Monday, except for he doesn't work in Athens on Mondays. So he's going to see you Tuesday at noon on his lunch break. And so I went from having 6 weeks to less than 6 days sitting in his office, right? But I say that because, again, I'm diagnosed in March. Dr. Nick and Dr. Candy, who is my surgeon, who since then retired, and I actually see Dr. Ray at University Cancer and Blood Center, UCBC, to just as my annual checks right now. And during that process, though, what they ended up doing, they coordinated, and so that I could have my surgery. And so I basically did 2-in-1 surgeries because I had decided. And Dr. Lober, who is a plastic surgeon, right here on Prince. So again, this is where my team is. And I say that because it was all in Athens, because a lot of things that I was hearing from people were also saying, oh, these doctors in Athens don't care about you. All the things that you hear.
Yes.
And I'm like, Athens is the medical hub. I think about this is Metro Athens, because everybody else in Northeast Georgia comes back to Athens for a lot of services. So I'm like, why are we going to Atlanta for this service when we are the medical hub for Northeast Georgia, right? But to Robert's point, when he said earlier, the other thing I was thinking with surgery is, I hope y'all remember how I got here. Because I'm a black woman. Nothing was lost to me that I'm a black woman on this journey. But they coordinated schedules so that they could do all of my surgeries at once. So when I went into a double mastectomy to go completely flat concave, the plastic surgeon was also there, and he did see, I told you I don't do medical. It's not that I want to say the implants, so it wasn't implants. It's the whatever they're putting in so they can actually in my skin again. The word will come to me. But they did all this at the same time, which is what made my surgery so long.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Right? Because this normally could have been 2 different surgeries.
Yes. Yes.
But they like. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. It just kind of highlights once again that for a lot of times black women specifically have to have a lot of that advocacy, because like she was saying, you go from 6 months to 6 days. You got to know the right people, or you got to be the person who's calling so much that you had to advocate for yourself. And I just wonder what her journey would have been like had it not been for the people that really were on her side to make sure that she was getting it in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it made that part easier on you know, for everything involved. But good Lord, what would have happened if any one part would have fell through? We might not have gotten what's my man's name? The one that
Dr. Nick.
No, not Dr. Nick. The one who actually
Dr. Cannon, who
Dr.
retired.
Cannon. Yeah, we wouldn't have got to do her surgery had, you know, how that advocacy not happened.
Yes.
So it's really, and so that's the reason why I'm like, no, it really is important that, you know, black people in general actually have that advocacy, but definitely black women, because a lot of the times that, you know, black women are the ones who need that advocacy the most to make sure that they actually leave the hospital the same, you know, better than they went in.
Yes. Absolutely.
It was the expanders. Told you it would come to me. So yeah, so they did a double mastectomy to take me basically flat concave and insert the expanders at the same time, which is how they stretch your skin back out to whatever breast size you want. Because again, one of the differences, I got to choose what size do you want to go back as? Do you, right? Because they gave me, so when I was sitting down with Dr. Cannon, he went from everything, well, we could do a lumpectomy, which is just remove that part. I was, like I said, stage 1. And the size of the cancer they found was basically the size of my pinky nail.
It's half of you.
So yeah, half a piece of pinky nail. So we could just remove it, and then you have this small little indentation. Or we could take off one breast, because it was in my right breast. We could take off both. I mean, they're giving me these options.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. So one of the first things I did, when we get to the car, because Robert went to every single appointment with me. Let me insert that.
Yes, sir.
Every single appointment with me. One, because I knew this is the person he is, that he was not going to not let me go. But 2, I wanted him to be there because he was going to ask me and I couldn't translate to what they just told me. So I'm like, just come here. You ask. And he thought of questions that I'd never even thought to ask. Because again, my brain doesn't process medical information that way. And so we talked about it, and he was like, that's your body. It's up to you. And I say that because I heard so many women over this time, and I'll tell you how I've been really public with how I had breast cancer. People told me that they kept it a secret. They were ashamed, how their partners navigated with it. And I was like, wow. Okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Like the blessing were showing up through the journey along the way in so many ways that I didn't even expect.
Absolutely.
Right? So when we finally did make the decision, like I was like, yeah, we've been married at this point just almost 2 years.
Yeah, it was right before 2 years. Yeah.
We were crossing about 2 years being married and jumped right into breast cancer. Right?
Yeah, that sickness and the health hit real hard.
Yes.
But see, that's God. That's God. He knew God's timing is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He knew He put y'all together so y'all can go through this. So
yes,
this mark. I mean,
yeah.
But you know, she's also, you know, just an incredibly powerful woman too. Because, you know, it takes, because you go from like, all right, it's this little bitty thing. You can just have this small little surgery and it'll be fine. And she's like, nah, just go ahead and take them both. Don't worry about it. I was like,
kill me.
hey, salute to you.
Yes.
Because, you know, most people are like, nah, just get the little bitty one. And nah, she went all the way in. And so my hat's off to her, because she was amazing throughout that whole process too. You know, honestly, from start to finish, there's strength and grit about her that I didn't even know was there. And so I don't know, man. I was like, man, you were a baddie for real, like honestly. So I mean, that whole process, you know, through and through, she just, you know, demonstrated how much strength she has. But I appreciate you for saying that. I also want to make sure that it's also highlighted that that I appreciate being there to see it. Yes. But I would not have known how strong it was until that journey started.
And it's so crazy. Me and Tanya just recently went through something. She lost her mother. We lost our mother. And
sorry to hear that.
And we had been married just a little over a year. But me and my brother, we had a conversation. He was like, you know, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do this. I said, you're right. I said, but look at me now. He said, yeah. He said, I'm proud because you are exactly the man she needed for this journey now. And I was just like, and would not want it. I don't want and didn't want to be anywhere else up with her through this every step of the way. So I definitely understand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, I didn't know we had no onions in here. Onions out of here. Woo! Well, yeah. Okay, now back to yeah.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I love it. I do. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Okay.
I'm
Right,
sorry.
let me
You don't need me.
Nah,
Y'all
you're
brought out
good.
something.
Hey, man, you're good.
Yeah.
Listen,
Woo.
you're good.
Black
man.
love is a
You're
beautiful
good.
thing. That's
Man,
all I
it
can
really
say.
is.
It is a beautiful thing. Oh, but I will also share, with me making the decision to say, yes, I'm going to have this double mastectomy, after the fact, so this is after surgery, I find out, after I'm like, yeah, we're committed, this is what we're going to do. And everybody was like, are you sure? Because that's very drastic. You're being very drastic. Very drastic. And then I find out, well, because you decided to do the double mastectomy, you do not have to go through the chemo and radiation.
Yes.
Think about the traditional trajectory
Yes.
of chemo and radiation is very intense.
Yes.
But because I chose to go so drastic, as they kept telling me, I didn't have to do chemo and radiation.
Wow.
And so much so that when I finally went back to work, I remember I ran, because where my office is in that Kroger shopping center on 29. And I saw somebody that I knew, and it was on a Saturday, because I'm like trying to catch up, and my energy level, all this. And I had my hair like up in a messy bun. And so it's lock time, right? It's time to get retwisted. But my hair was not where I normally have my hair out in the streets. And I saw somebody, and they were like, your hair looks so good. And I remember getting back in the car, and I was like, my hair was looking a mess. And it hit me. I said, they were saying the fact that you still have your hair. And it didn't hit me. It took me a second. I'm like, I mean, so much so when they said your hair, and I'm like, I got in the car and looked in the mirror. I said, girl, you look a mess today. What are they talking about? And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, because I still have my hair, right?
Affect your hair. Yeah.
Right? So it's really interesting just through that I didn't understand that could be a different part of this treatment.
Yes.
And I'll have to also say, I did go very public with having cancer. And oddly enough, I initially did it because, again, I'm a nonprofit holic, and I was like, I'm about to be MIA. Because the downtime, they told me, was it 6 to 8 weeks? That'd be downtime. So I had my surgery May 11th. And so I was going to be out pretty much through the summer.
Yes.
I basically did a Facebook Live post like, hey, just so y'all know, if I'm not at your event, I'm not answering your calls, I'm dealing with personal stuff. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I mean, so it was just very nonchalant.
Yes.
And it's probably still on my page because I rarely take stuff down. And so I was like, hey, just so y'all know, but the outpouring of response and of love, because I was like, that many people pay attention to me? Okay. But the number of people that came and said, hey, can I pray with you? Let me tell you about my story. Here's how I navigated. I only went through this with my parents, my siblings, my spouse. Didn't tell people. I was embarrassed. That side of breast cancer never dawned on me. I will also add, though, that it also opened the door for people to make comments that you go, why did they just say that? And, oh, how did you catch it? You what? I didn't. It caught me. And so, I mean, those kind of things. And those, some of our church folks, the comments they make of if it was me, I'd be in the corner somewhere. And then my response is, where's your faith?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so it opened the door to, because again, when you live an out loud life,
yes,
you get things from both sides.
yes,
And so I was prepared for it, but I don't think I understood that to be how it was going to come and how the response would be. It was surprising to me, but again, I don't normally live in that world.
yes.
So it was something totally new to me, but just navigating people through that space. And so I would come on, I was like, so Robert, let me tell you my latest and greatest story of a response I got from somebody. It was just really interesting. Like I said, the way people showed up, but also the people who I didn't even know needed to hear it.
Yes.
And the folks who really made me question,
Yes.
y'all didn't pay attention in science class at all, huh?
Hey.
So it was a range of emotions.
Social media brings out the ignorant.
Yes, it does.
It definitely brings out some of the ignorant.
It does.
Your recovery.
Ooh. So my recovery was a very interesting process. I will start here. It was the worst, hardest, most difficult, most painful thing I'd ever been through, and probably one of the most difficult emotional moments I had. it was one of those moments I was like, oh, okay, God, I see what you're doing. Because as a black woman, so again, we got married 39 years old. So established a whole life, had our own personalities, all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as a black woman who was very independent, did everything on her own, I understood that part of this journey was this is where God had to shift me to be dependent on my husband. And so for so many things, I'll let him say about the hospital room experience, but the moment I can tell you where I had the shift, don't laugh at me because it was horrible, I'll tell you. The shift that I had was at our home when I had to go to the bathroom. Again, I don't speak medical. Now, I don't realize that when you're cutting through muscle across here, again, none of this dawns on me till I'm in it.
Yes.
I could not even lift a normal standard size coffee because it was too heavy.
Wow.
Right? So I'm saying that, so you have, I call them, the T-Rex arms. Your movement is limited here. We had to take my toothbrush out of our medicine cabinet and put it on the counter because I couldn't reach up there to get it. I had to learn how to get this range of motion.
Okay.
And so one of the first times when I'm like aware enough to go to the bathroom on my own, and Rob was like, you need me coming in and help you? You need me at the hospital nurse? I was like, no, I turned into MacGyver. So I'm sitting there on the toilet. It's probably too much. But I'm thinking, what can I grab to get to wrap the toilet paper around and then wipe myself? Like I'm literally, I probably was I don't know how, in my mind it was like 2-3 minutes. It was probably 15 minutes. Because I'm trying to figure out what can I use and grab. And there's nothing that you have but an extender in the back. You know what I mean? But I was MacGyver in my head trying to figure this out.
Yes.
Because the things that you were so used to doing, you could not.
Mm-hmm.
It just threw me.
Yes.
And I had to say, oh my gosh, this is that sickness and health part.
Yes.
And this is where you're. And I was like, and so I'm sitting there like, I need you to come help me, but you weren't supposed to send me. We were like, hey, that you had to do something like this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we just turned 40. And I'm like having a whole breakdown about just something as simple as going to the bathroom because it really shifted the how. And I was like, I don't know. And so I also realized here's another advocacy moment tidbit. If you were ever staying overnight in the hospital, you need to have somebody there with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you're on really good drugs. 'Cause I was on some really good drugs.
Yes.
So I'll let Robert tell you
You gonna
his
let
version.
me tell that one?
Yes,
Okay.
because I was on really good drugs.
So, and she's right. One of the things you learn, especially, because you just learn that you need to be in the hospital with your people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was in the hospital, and the nurse comes in, and the nurse says the doctor comes in. And the doctor says, well, I just need you to walk to the nurse's station and back, and if you can do that, you can go home today. And I think that was the day after she had her surgery. So she says, okay, cool. So I'm sitting in there, and the nurse comes in and says, okay, well, we're going to get you up and we're going to walk you. She says, okay. She gets up. I can already tell this is about to be a bad day. We about to stay here another day.
Yes, sir.
Right?
We gonna be here.
So the nurse stands her up, and she gets to the end of the bed, and she's like, can't do it. So spin her back around, sit her back down, lay her back down, go ahead and give her the good medicine, go ahead and give her the sleepy time, right?
Mm-hmm.
She goes right back to sleep because, like she said, standing up, twisting, all of that hurts. The doctor comes in and says, did you take a walk? Is what the doctor says. This one,
Yes,
who
I
was,
did.
right? But she is on drugs.
Yes.
In my head, that walk was a walk. I walked.
That spin around was.
And the doctor's like, oh, we're going to discharge you today then, and turns around and goes to walk out. And I said, excuse me, sir. She made it to the end of the bed. Where you were standing is where she made it. He said, well, she said that she walked. I said, she is on drugs. She is literally taking the pain medication that is putting her to sleep. You can either trust her or you can trust me. I'm telling you, she didn't take the walk that you asked her to take. He said, well, I guess she needs to stay here another day. I said, I guess she does.
I thought I walked. In my head, the pain, because it literally felt like I had 2 center blocks that were wrapped in barbed wire and set on fire sitting on my chest. That's how the pain felt.
Wow.
But
Yes.
But I'll also highlight this by saying that she was determined to make sure that her recovery was successful. And I think We got to the house. We got her situated. We had to get her a reclining chair, which was kind of the
Thank
cheat
God
code, right?
for my husband, because I would have never thought of that.
So the recline, it was the one that you could lift up, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't push it off the chair. So
Can't use those muscles.
Yeah.
she had that chair. So she was sleeping in the reclining chair, the lift chair that we got. I'm sleeping on the couch. So when she got up in the middle of the night, she had to go to the bathroom. As soon as I heard that little thing go, I was up.
Yes,
I
sir.
was like, all right, cool. Where you gotta go? What we gotta do? Let me help you out on the toilet. Here you go. Close the door. Let me know when you're done. Okay, get up off the toilet. Now back to the chair.
Yeah.
Sit you down. That was the way that it went. But the reason why I want to highlight how much she was trying was because she was always like, it was like she was a straight A student of recovery, man. Every time she had it was like, hit this goal today, cool. And she was like, I'm determined to make sure that I don't need anybody.
Yes. I already know what was fueling her. Hey, you didn't even have to say that, but I
Exactly.
knew what was fueling her.
Exactly.
Yes.
The only thing she couldn't do by herself, they had the drainage thing, right? And that's the only thing she couldn't do. Now, as soon as because they usually take the drainage things in to make sure that they get the blood and the fluids off of that. That's the only thing she couldn't do. But honestly, if she could do that thing by herself, she probably wouldn't have called my name the whole time that she was trying to get healed up. But to her credit, once again, she was working really hard to be in the best shape possible to make sure that this healing journey was actually really good for her. And I appreciated her for that because believe it or not, it actually made my job easier because I was worried I was pushing too hard.
Yeah.
What I started realizing was that she was actually doing well because she was determined to do well, right? And that determination is part of what got her past that particular mark.
Yes.
So it's always a sight to see when you see your person, when we see our wives
Absolutely.
persevere past something that's really difficult. It's amazing to see like how much healing can certainly take place with the perseverance that they have. So I appreciate her for not giving up. I mean, at that point I had just got her. I was like, we just got here. What you mean you gonna give up? But she was determined to actually make sure that she was still around.
Yeah, but it was like those little bulbs. I see everybody now when they like getting BBLs and all this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, you like an octopus because you have these. There's a long tube and a bulb on the end, and it's basically collecting your bodily fluids. And you're supposed to change them at certain times of day, and you document how much fluid is coming out. Because you go to the doctor, you take your little report, and because they're trying to make sure you're covering well.
Yes.
And I still to this day can't change them. Robert changed them every single time. Because I was like, I don't do bodily fluids, and I don't do small children. Other than that, I cannot. I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Now, for somebody listening, this is the best case scenario.
Yes.
Of breast cancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There were some hard nights.
Absolutely. Could not sleep.
There were some hard nights.
Yeah.
Give me a hard night. And what was that like?
Yeah. Probably. So the worst part, I think Robert even kind of touched on it. Probably some of the worst things that you go through early on is when you do get back home, because again, you're not thinking, how do I need to set up and maneuver?
Yes.
And so the first day we got back home, I get in our bed and I'm like, ooh, and then we ended up ordering one of those big maternity pillows because I'm like, okay, how do I get seated? That's all I was thinking, like, how do we get, seated in the right position? Well, the problem is that when you're down there in the bed, it's all comfortable, but you got to actually sit up to go to the bathroom, to drink, to try to put something in your stomach, to take medicine.
Yeah.
And lifting yourself up takes some upper body strength. Well, your upper body just got cut open. And so Robert, shout out to Frederick, worked through. They like, hey, I know we get a chair. So they called, I think, like Renter Center or somebody to get those reclining lifting chairs, like $50 a week or something.
Yeah.
And so Robert and Frederick go pick this chair up. And so it was like, okay, the next time I get up, we're going to go straight to the chair.
Go straight to the chair. Yes, sir.
And let me also add, Fred, I love you forever for this one, man, because it wasn't that we went to one in Athens. I think we had to drive to Statham.
Because they had it available that day.
Yeah.
Right. So we wanted it the same day.
Yes.
So, man, Fred, listen, appreciate you, man.
He had a truck.
Yeah.
He had a truck. We could
love
get
you
it
forever
easy.
for that
Yes,
one.
sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Robert even thought about setting it up so it was literally at a beeline to the bathroom because I could see our bathroom directly. So when I got up, and it was, I could go, and which is funny because on drugs, really good drugs, that's about all you can do. I mean, And I'm saying this, because I had my time back in the day. You were drinking and you were so focused. When you get to that point, you're like, okay, I got to focus. If I can get to there,
if I can get there,
that's how I felt in those drugs almost. But it was worse.
Absolutely.
So it's like if I can just get to there, and that was my goal, to get to the bathroom. And I had a routine every morning, and so probably the worst was getting up, but then also getting back down. Because when you get down, because again, you have these bulbs that make you feel like an octopus hanging under your arm. Mm-hmm. And so putting your arm down at some point, that's sore. Shout out to Piedmont, Athens Regional, because they have people that do like these care packages. And so they had with these bulbs, they gave like a kit that it would hang. So you had somewhere to like store them, almost like pockets.
Yeah.
So they weren't just kind of flailing everywhere. They had pillows that they made that are L shape almost, that fit under your arm. So when you put your arm down, you had a cushion. Little things like that I would never thought of. And I have to even give a shout out to some of my Edward Jones family. There was a women's used to have a Facebook group. It's changed now. But it was a group of just women financial advisors. And somebody else all across the country in Canada. One of the ladies that posted that I'm about to start breast cancer. And we were asking all about, what does leave look like and all these things. And so I was like, hey, I'm about to start this journey too, following because I need the information. And there's a financial advisor. Her name is Jennifer, out west. Never have met this lady. Never met her in person. She sends me a care package because she was a breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
That had items in there that came in hand.
Wow.
That I would have never thought about. One of them was a pillow that hooked. So when we were going to the doctor appointments, this pillow snaps around you. And it had like a little pocket on the front for your phone or medicine or whatever. Wow. But we would be in the car and I'd be like this going to the doctor because it just hurt. Every bump, turn, lump. I was like, I never realized how lumpy these roads were. Yes. Oh, there's a speed break right there. Oh, we got to go around the curve. So, you're just sitting like this in the car. And as soon as I got home, it was like, get back on medicine because you were in pain. But you're trying to be cognizant so you could actually walk for these appointments. So things like that I even have to say that just that group of women financial advisors who have been on that journey before.
Yes.
Was so helpful that I never thought about. And so it made me, every time somebody said, got breast cancer, I know what I'm doing. I'm sitting in that box because you just don't know.
Absolutely. Robert.
Yes, sir.
Those hard nights. Once she finally went to sleep and you still woke. Probably don't forgot you're a therapist. How did you cope? Because she's finally went to sleep.
Yeah.
But you just had to help her go to the bath. So you still, your adrenaline is still flowing a little bit.
I'll be honest with you. I have a therapist, right? Because it wouldn't be fair for me to give things to her when she's recovering. There's no secret, right? So we've talked about the difficult times. We've talked about how things are hard, but I have a therapist, and she, shout out to Viola. She continues because I saw her earlier today actually.
I see mine every Monday.
Right,
every Monday.
I'm a Thursday brother. You feel
me?
Monday,
exactly.
Exactly. But like she helped me out with navigating that. But the other piece of it really was out of necessity. I couldn't afford to not be on my A game, right? I had one moment that she saw, and it was a moment where I was trying my best to get the house together, keep everything together. But we're in a 2-person house. It takes 2 people to keep the house, and she could see how frustrating it was to keep everything together. And she reached out to me, brother. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I broke down. I just couldn't hold it all together. Yes. I just had my moment.
Yes.
And she, and I hated it because I was like, you sitting over here hurting, and I'm having a whole moment. So I'm trying to collect myself, and she's like, no, have it. And I'm like, I can't afford to have it because where you are. But once the moment was over, I was like, I just need to keep going.
To have that moment. No, you needed to have that moment.
And that was a conversation we had afterwards, right? That I needed to have that moment. But she had to be okay. You said it from the very beginning. I'm the man.
Yes.
So in my head, it was I couldn't afford to have that moment. And later on, I realized I could have it.
Yeah.
But in that time, if I'm being really honest, at that time, I couldn't afford to have that moment. I couldn't afford to stop. everything set, I had to keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Later on, I was like, okay, I need to. That was important for me to have. I would be lying if I told you that it was that I'm 100% like it was okay for it to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm still like, nah, I need to be like, if she's not okay, I gotta
be okay.
Right.
Yes.
But at the same time, it would not be genuine of me to say that I'm going to be okay all the time.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
if you're telling me about sleepless nights, I was like, I just got to be all right. And honestly, even after moments like those, it was like, all right, I had to have it. I would take a step back for a second, take a breath, try and make sure I was getting myself together, take it to therapy if I needed to, talk to her. Shout out to, again, my parents and, the family. Shout out to, Steve and my cousin Chris, for, talking to me every now and then, making sure that things were kind of straight, but I had to find some outlets because if I carried it all on my own, it was, I just wasn't going to be okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that became that spot for me. I'm trying to make sure that I had to make sure that I had some of those people. And I isolate sometimes, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And I still fight it. I still got to fight even isolation to this day. But even then, it was less of the sleepless nights and more of the making sure that I didn't isolate myself. And I do a really good job of just not calling, just not saying stuff. But sometimes when I wasn't calling, especially then, and sometimes even now, I'm just struggling, and I just don't have the energy to actually reach out and actually make that phone call. You know what I mean?
I have a saying. Me and Lamar Handy have a saying. It's okay not to be okay.
Absolutely.
Now, where I add to that is, but it's not okay staying not okay.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
when you hear this and when you saw that, in the moment I know that was hard because this is your man, and you're such an independent woman, you don't want to put that on him.
Right.
But to now know that he allowed himself to be vulnerable in this time for you.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do for you?
So I always say I think we have a very non-traditional relationship just because even when we were dating, I felt very much role reversed in so many things from our professions that we do, right? And Robert is the one who allowed me from an emotional standpoint. Most of my friends and family was like, Robert made you soft, right? Because I was like, I made it. And I would tell them, I was like, my thing was, I was like, Robert allowed me to be in my soft girl era before that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
I said, but everybody didn't deserve that.
Absolutely.
So that's why y'all didn't see this out of me. But at the same time, I was always a strong friend, right? And somebody got to check on the strong friends. Yeah. But I was always a strong friend, and Robert allowed me to be vulnerable, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, I enjoyed him being vulnerable as he was because it also allowed me to be that person. Mm-hmm. Some of those hard nights and getting up, because now I'm awake and I'm waiting for the medicine to kick back in, we would have some of the most interesting conversations in the dark. Because he wouldn't sleep in the bed. He would sleep on the couch.
I get that.
Because he's like, the big bathroom is right there. Yeah. You got space, all these things. Yeah. And he wouldn't leave me in the living room.
I absolutely understand that. Yes.
But we would lay there in the pitch black dark until this medicine kicked back in and have the most interesting conversations. What he's also not telling you about him trying to juggle the house and me at the same time is that he was also just starting his private practice and still working full time at the clinic. So he's not yet right. So he was doing a whole lot, juggling a whole lot. And there was times I remember like my mom would come over just in the middle of the day because you went to the clinic like something god awful early in the morning. Yeah. I never got up there early anyway. Before I can't even blame it on I never got up there early. But by the time he was getting home, it was lunchtime. And so my mom would come over because they live about a mile away from us, and she'd be sitting over there talking out just kind of in this foggy air. She'd be folding towels or doing something, right? Because that's what parents do. And, my bonus dad, Larry, would call and check. I knew it was 10 o'clock because Larry was calling to check on me. He couldn't see me because it was so emotional for him to see me hurt.
Yes.
He's like, you're in pain. He couldn't see it.
Yes.
But I knew at 10 o'clock Larry's calling, right? And so watching Robert navigate that, I was okay with him being vulnerable because it allowed me to be vulnerable. Because I was like, I'm struggling with that too. I didn't think about it. Because I compartmentalize and I'm the person, I'm very goal task oriented. Mm-hmm. So my emotions are on the back burner. And I'm like, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with how I feel later.
Yeah.
But right now, things need to get done.
Yeah.
And so Robert allowed me to stop and sit in my emotions with that.
Mm.
And sometimes I stop. He's like, how you feel about that? I'm like,
I don't know.
let me think about that. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about how I felt at this point. And so I had to catch myself.
Yes.
And so I enjoy him truly being every part of him.
Yes.
Because it allows me to then be that same person.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm like, no, you need to stop. It's okay. Because I also feel his energy too.
Yes.
I can tell when he's frustrated. I can tell when something's bothering him. We don't have to be in the same room. I can call him like, what's wrong? What's going on?
Yeah.
I feel something ain't right.
Yeah. So Robert, when she said it was okay, when you going through that and she said, and she gave you that it's okay, what did that do for you?
She always gives me permission, right? Like, so it's never, so like that wasn't the unusual part. It was
The moment.
yeah, in that particular
Yes, in
moment
that
though,
particular moment.
it had
When you
to-
supposed to be the man.
yeah.
I can't, and I'm not.
But
it was happening.
But it really, I couldn't do anything but release it. You know what I mean? There'll be plenty of times where a lot of other people, like I know I'm an emotional person, but people don't really know how much emotion lives in me.
Mm-hmm.
But she does,
Mm-hmm.
because she's the one who will stop me and it has to come out. Like
Yes.
I can't even control it when she's around sometimes. But like the other part of that, because I want to make sure it's really specific to what I'm talking about, is I had to let go of being the man long enough to let that happen for her too. You know what I mean? Like being the man was less about trying to be solid and more about being honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that became that moment. And sure, I can say that it was the only moment that she got, but that moment was really important
Yes.
because that was that moment. It was like I couldn't hold it anymore.
Yes.
And again, you know, the man in me, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm really honest since
Uh-huh.
you're asking me the question.
Uh-huh.
The man in me is still saying to this day, like, man, you should have held it together. But I'm checking that with, but she asked for it too.
Yes.
So there's that duality in that particular spot.
Well, let me ask you something about that, because do you think that maybe somewhere way back, because do you think that is because we as men on the most time are not given the opportunity to be vulnerable, to not be, you don't have to be, it's okay for you to not be okay in this moment, and she's not gonna weaponize that moment next year.
She's a safe place.
You said a whole lot right now. See what you said?
Yeah, my therapist actually said something really cool today. She said, I know that, you know, a lot of the times when you get home, you know, that's your best time to release. And then she paused for a second and she said, I already know that, you know, that house is not really your home. Home isn't home until Michelle gets there. And I said, you know what, but she's right.
Yeah.
You know, Michelle's been home for a really long. Michelle's been home since before the two of us shared a bed together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
if
Yes,
I'm
I
really
do.
honest with it, that's always been the case.
Yes.
I just had to have those types
Yes.
of realizations.
Yes.
So in general, Michelle's always been that person I can really be safe with.
Yes.
In that moment, I was trying my best to be my own safety, and I couldn't necessarily do it. And,
Yes.
I couldn't put that down. And I'm blessed to be able to have somebody that would ask me to be safe
Talk about
in a
it.
moment when she's vulnerable
Talk
too.
about it.
But if you're asking me about men in general, I'll say that I'll add that we need to give ourselves those spaces amongst men too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
it wouldn't be fair for my wife to be the only place that I took something. Like if I can't take it to my brother, like and I love my brother Steve for instance. If I can just get off talking for a half a second,
Yeah.
my brother Steve is one of those dudes that if I'm sitting across from him, he'll call me out, and I appreciate him for it. He might say something to me, and I'll be like, man, I can't believe he asked me that. but I got to give him that honesty
Yeah.
because I really want my brother to know who I am and know how I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And even in the brief moments when we get a chance to talk to each other, in those times when sometimes we only talk to each other a couple times every couple months. But I know if I'm sitting across from Steve and I can really get that like real interaction, it'll actually be there.
Yes.
You know, same thing, you know, come again with my cousin Chris, same thing, you know, when my cousin Paul knows me that well. Like I got those brothers
Yes.
that I can really call
Yes.
on. You know, shoot, my brother John knows me that well. Those
Yes.
guys that I know that will be able to actually, you know, hold me down
Yes.
if I bring them something real. So the men have to do it too.
Absolutely.
But shout out to my wife for being that in a very deep way too.
It's so
Can I
funny.
insert something you said though
Uh-huh.
to that? It's one about relationship, whether it's spousal relationship
Yeah.
or community relationship.
Absolutely.
But it has to be a safe space
Absolutely.
because you can't weaponize the vulnerability that somebody presented to you and use that, which is why so many people. And I say that because
Yeah.
black women, we have our own corner as well with that, and black men it probably takes you guys longer to form that.
Yes.
Women will test out friendships and we'll test it out and then pull back. But you guys, I've noticed, men are typically harder to lean into the relationship initially anyway.
Oh, yes.
Whereas a woman might test it out. Let me give her this and see how she handles it. Let me give her this and see how she handles it.
We
But we
figure
have to
out
be
something.
safe in that
Yeah,
space,
absolutely.
and we can't use that as now I'm upset with you, no matter what it is, and use it as a weapon. Weaponizing your vulnerability is not how you handle relationships. Period, and that's where a lot of people struggle being that vulnerable.
You know the reason why it was so easy to actually, you know, see her through the breast cancer journey is because of who she was before the breast cancer hit.
Yeah.
Because the person that the thing that she hasn't said quite yet is that when I was, as I am going through my journey, navigating depression, for instance, there'll be moments when an emotional hit and I won't even know where it comes from. I'll be having a good day and all of a sudden my whole day crashes. And she's seen those moments happen. Before breast cancer, before all this other stuff happened, she was the person who gave me the patience to be able to have this emotional moment and to be able to say, I don't know where it came from, but to have that wave of emotion and then to be okay on the other side of it. And we'll talk it through. We'll talk it out. But she'll at least weather the storm with me. And this one, we were just cool. This is before dating or anything else. We just cool. When we were dating, it just amplified. Because at that point, she could just grab, it'll flow out, and she'll be like, "Are you good? What do you need?" And if I just need her to be there, she'll just be there. Now she don't know nothing about like emotional people. She's looking at me the first time like, "What in the world's going on? Why are you crying?" I don't
I'm the
understand.
friend that does this and you cry. I'm like, okay, you need a cocktail? I'm good at getting cocktails. I don't know how to do it.
But she's also the person who struggled through it with me. So when breast cancer hits, for instance, it's like, how do I not be that for her?
Right.
When this thing hits where she has to have this surgery, how do I not do this with her? When doctors remove her breast from her body, how do I not sit here and make sure that she's okay? Right? When she's on her road to, because this is before, she had reconstruction, when she's trying to figure out how the new boobs are going to look.
Yeah.
Like, how do I not sit here and help her out with, making sure that she's capable of getting to and from appointments?
Yes.
This woman is seeing me in some really messy spots. This woman is seeing me through some really hard times. This woman has seen me be not the best person. What you mean I'm not going to be here for her? What, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
for me, when we're talking about even the sleepless nights and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, the sleepless nights were easy. It was easy because of who she was before all that happened.
And that was just the first surgery. Let me add that, because there were multiple surgeries. That was the first surgery.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
first.
because we had that surgery, then we had the reconstructive surgery.
Too. And let me insert, because because October 19th is Sunday.
Yes.
My next reconstruction surgery happened the week before Thanksgiving, so early November, October 19th. I get the phone call that my youngest brother passed away. 10 years younger than me. We grew up in the same house, same mom, and it just took the whole family away. My brother, he was I always said the glue to the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that could sell, ice water to an Eskimo.
Yes, sir.
Because he is full of personality, but he's the one that navigated all the cousins and kept everybody together. So that is who Clint was. And to get that call that while he was in prison, and then to find out, oh, he committed suicide, like we didn't know what was going on. The whole process was a hard, long, emotional one.
Yes.
Still in it. I mean, also inside that we're still in that.
Yes.
So, and then I'm going to go have surgery, and his funeral was, I think, like 2 days later. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to the funeral. I can't go to the, because I'm going to need to be back on drugs. And so I didn't go to the gravesite to bury him. Went to the funeral, and then to go back home and try to like take this pain medicine before everybody comes over and you have the wave of things. Because I'm also thinking, how do I take care of my mom? How do I support my mom? And is this her baby, you know?
Right.
And it felt, because he and I were 10 years apart, it felt like a piece of my baby.
Your baby.
Right? Because I'm like, we raised him, but she raised him. And it was a very, it still is a very like emotional roller coaster with that. And so our whole family went through the wave of that throughout these different surgeries, because life didn't just stop because we had breast cancer.
Yes.
Right? So all the things that come along with that, we're still in the middle of it, but it takes a village.
Absolutely.
So, and we had along the way, I'd also be remiss if I did not add all of our friends just from the community, look, our LGA cousins and everybody. Like, we got gift cards, which is something that was very supportive. Because people were like, what do you need? I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. But people would send meals over, people sent gift cards. And so because, I think Robert, I told you all the stuff he was juggling. I literally can't lift a finger, literally struggling to lift a finger.
Yes.
And so most of our meals we were ordering, so we used a lot of gift cards to order food. I was drinking a lot of soup early on because I couldn't, and then the doctor's like, whatever you can keep down.
Yeah.
That's how we navigate a lot of that. So our village showed up in so many different ways that we didn't even understand. We used some gift cards to order some stuff just off Amazon that I didn't even know we needed at the house, from here's how you navigate breast cancer. This best to have this. Hey, those ginger pills really help with nausea. Oh, yeah, they those little ginger candies, ginger tea. I mean, just random things that again you don't think about it to you, because there's no magical place where here's a full list, because everybody's journey is so different with breast cancer.
Absolutely.
And so you're testing it by ear, and you're like, how do y'all deal? So I'm on, you're on sites. How did y'all deal with this? How did you navigate this? That is how the different bras that you're trying to adjust. I mean, this random thing. Y'all know how much bras cost. And so I'm gonna tell you, so I went down a size.
Yes.
I didn't go back to the. I'm like, back problems and shoulder. So I'm doing a whole new bra collection. Bras are expensive. Well, good bras are expensive.
Yes.
They're like $80 a pop. I'm just So luckily I didn't have to buy a whole bunch of bras, because my girl just sit here now. Thank you, Dr. Logan. Thank you, Dr. Logan. So there you go. Like, there's a silver lining. There's a silver lining. Yes. They used to be in my lap. Now they just sit. So I take it. So sometimes y'all just don't know, but out here free. I'm like, this is what it's like. I didn't know what y'all was living like free. But it really is a roller coaster ride of things you just don't know, you don't understand, and you don't process. And I think we discount that because we get so stuck on breast cancer. Life after breast cancer is still a whole new adjustment, a whole new world that you have to navigate in your life. Like I said, it took months to get through it. We probably went 9-10 months between surgeries and had 3 or 4 total surgeries.
Yeah, I think that really, beginning to end, it was like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. And lost another aunt during that journey as well.
Yeah.
October 21st, she was 23.
Wow.
Brother, October 19, 2022.
Wow.
October 21st, 2023. Like I said, it was some rough times in there.
Yeah, life just didn't stop, and I think that's the other piece of it, right? No part of life stops. So if it wasn't healing from surgeries and procedures and having to navigate, making sure that everything is okay, it was grief and hard times and tough situations happening. But as she said, the village and family, man, village and family. Those two things just helped things along, and they helped things be easier. Love everybody that actually, helped us out, especially with the family for putting in those, moments, that happened. Oh man, your birthday?
Yeah.
You remember your birthday after you, after your double mastectomy?
Yes.
Your birthday was during that time when you were healing.
When I was healing and I was trying to put on a brave face. So Robert and I are big travelers. And so usually we're gone somewhere doing something over my birthday. It's the summertime, right? So we're usually gone. And all of a sudden, my family shows up. We're going to do this birthday thing. And they come over to our house June 4th. So we are barely 30 days out. And so, and I mean, we have a lot of kids in the family, all things. So I put the pillow on, the car pillow. And I'm like, okay, I gotta put on a good face. Because in that's mine, because I am the first person in my family who was diagnosed with cancer that did not die within 12 months of being diagnosed. Let me add that. And we've had a lot of, and it's not been breast, it's been, you can take a dartboard, put all the cancers on the wall and throw them. We've had those cancers come through our family. And so, and Robert was like, nobody even asked me what I was doing for your birthday. They just showed up, and I said I had to go back. Those late night talks. Yeah. And this is me. I said, Robert, I can only assume they need to lay eyes on me because they kind of didn't want to be overbearing, while you're going through. I said they need to lay eyes on me. I think because I was the first person not to die. Wow. And I'm also, as my cousin family say, I'm the family manager, the oldest daughter, the oldest granddaughter.
Yes.
So I'm the family manager. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. All of this is happening at the same time. And that was traumatic. And I'm sitting here saying this now, actually probably holding back tears because now I'm navigating this space, which is why I said this journey was not for me. Because, and it felt almost one of the easiest ways to go through breast cancer, if that's even a thing.
Yes.
To navigate my mom getting diagnosed November last year with uterine cancer, stage 4. Mm-hmm. And going through all of the chemo and radiation and still happening. We still haven't even done surgery. And so I was like, because my mom is an introvert, just like my husband. So she has her own personality. Yeah. But it became a safe space to talk about, well, here's what I did. Here's what I thought. Here's what we need to call. But it was like I had the muscle memory just to do and go because I'm task oriented.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, guys. So I really had to go through this to make sure I could be there and be that support for my mom down the road. Okay, I take it. So that's why I see that now. Yeah. So where I started, why I went through this journey versus why I went through it today, totally different reason. Yeah. Now it's about mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
How's your mom doing?
So she is. It is funny. She is in good spirits because the one thing I guess I get this straight from her that I was like, it just is. We'll just get through it. That's how she was from day one. Good. And the doctor even sounded really sad talking about stage 4. So this is a very aggressive version. We made it through the chemo treatment. She did lose all her hair. She's growing back a little baby fro right now. The only piece of the journey we still really have to go through is doing surgery. Yeah.
But we're going to be praying.
Please do. Please.
Definitely praying.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Once again, I say fuck cancer.
Yes.
But what started out is talking about a somber thing. Y'all have filled this room with love.
Yes.
This is a love story.
Yes. Yes.
This is a remarkable love story. The name of this is a love story. Breast cancer awareness. This is a love story. Nobody but God.
Absolutely. And really thankful, honestly, because even that birthday party that you mentioned,
yes,
it was in retrospect, it's probably one of my favorite memories of the family gathering together. Yeah. Partially because they were over at our house, and it was really nice to have everybody over. But the other part of it being, having the realization of how everybody loves, because some of the times we take it for granted seeing people in just the same situation over and over again, loving each other. It's a different thing when your family comes together to celebrate a victory. Yes. And I felt like that birthday party, that birthday gathering was a celebration of victory. So I really appreciated her family coming by and celebrating her. It felt really good to see everybody love each other that way.
Absolutely.
And so I'm glad that nobody asked me, because I couldn't have planned a better celebration of life in that particular way than her family did. So I really appreciate that. But you're right. When you're talking about a love story, it's I appreciate loving this woman, but I also appreciate everybody that loved on her throughout this journey.
and loved you too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll take that too.
And loved you
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, initially, had this all set up in my mind. We were gonna jump into what you do now. We're not doing that because this really needs to end right here.
Perfect.
As a love story. Because
Can't be love.
okay,
It can't be
God
love.
is love.
The greatest of these.
Absolutely. It is love.
Is love.
Absolutely.
I ain't got but one thing, Robert.
Yes, sir.
I really need you to become part of my team because mental health is such a big thing that we stand on.
Sure.
On Talking Randomish.
Mhm.
So after we close out, I'm asking because I have November 20th.
Mhm.
I normally do a show around the holidays called Holiday Blues.
Okay.
And if you're able to be here, I would love for you to be part of this show.
Yeah.
Because this is this holiday season and everybody don't have someone to celebrate the holidays with.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but I don't know if you know Lamar Handy.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. But I know. But I want to make
I
sure.
know
Yeah.
him a little bit. Now.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to you, Lamar, man.
Yeah. Because-
We just saw him yesterday.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah. He's
Just,
on.
I mean, just make it because he's allowed me to become part of his team
I got you.
in this mental health space,
Mhm.
and we're trying to gather, especially black men,
I got you.
because eventually I want to create a safe space, so that we can come and just sit and talk.
I got you.
Mics on or off.
Yeah.
So, but I thank y'all.
Hey, we
I
thank you
thank
for
y'all
the
for your
invitation.
story.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And no more need to be said. No more need to be said. I'm gonna find this. This is a little closer. Larry, I'm sorry I ain't memorized it yet, but yeah, we finna close this thing. You sure we're giggling hard. You sure got a mighty giggle about yourself over there, sister.
Because of giggles of love.
You sure got a mighty hard giggle over there, sister.
Oh, that's funny.
I have been saying this pretty much since we started back doing this show, and I can't remember.
It's all right.
But when I think I can remember it, it just,
I feel you. I live in that world all the time.
it's just crazy. This game called life is a series of moments. The past is just that, the past. Learn from it and be thankful for it. The future, prepare for it. It's coming. Let's get to the next one. The present, it is a gift. Enjoy the journey. Take pictures. But most importantly, thank God.
Amen.
It's time to sweep the floors. Clean the clippers. I'm going to get the bathroom. I got the bathroom. You sure giggling hard.
I'm sorry.
You
I'm
had a
sorry.
mighty hard giggle over there.
I was worried about you for a second. You can't find it.
I'm gonna clean the bathroom. I'm gonna take care of it tonight. But you sure had a harsh giggle over there. In the words of Rita Lawson's son, Odabo Jack, the shop is closed.
We're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random.